Hello friends, welcome to Alankar Pharmacy classes again. In this video, I will explain about the qualification of UV spectrophotometer, and this is also one of the very important topic in pharmaceutical quality assurance. So stay with me till the end of the video to understand this topic. So let's start. Qualification is a process of ensuring that a system's specification is appropriate for its use and that the system performs according to that specification. Instrument qualification is not a single continuous process, but instead results from several discrete activities. These activities can be grouped into four different phases that are design qualification, installation qualification, operational qualification, and performance qualification. So in the case of UV spectrophotometer, design qualification should be performed before the purchase of any new model of UV spectrophotometer. Design qualification is actually the documented collection of activities defining first thing, that is the functional and operational specifications of the instrument. Second thing, that is the criteria for selection of vendor based on the intended purpose of the instrument. Or in simple words, the documents of design qualification should explain what the user wants the instrument to do. The examples of functional and operational specifications are optics, that may be a double beam or single beam, measurable range, for example, that is usually 190 to 1100 nanometer, and next thing is the wavelength accuracy, for example, plus minus 0.5 nanometer or better. Criteria for the selection of vendor, for example, warranty and maintenance support, discount, cost of annual maintenance contract AMC after expiry of standard warranty. So these all are the examples of functional and operational specifications that are specified in the design qualification of UV spectrophotometer. Now next step is installation qualification. Installation qualification is the documented collection of activities necessary to establish that an instrument is delivered as designed and specified and is properly installed in the selected environment and that this environment is suitable for the instrument. According to USP, the IQ requirements provide evidence that the hardware and software are properly installed in the desired location. This is the checklist for installation qualification in the case of UV spectrophotometer. First thing is the delivery equipment is according to DQ or not. All parts received as given in the consignment details, all accessories undamaged, the serial number of software, hardware and all accessories are correct and according to DQ. What are the tests required for calibration, maintenance and performance tests by the user and supplier or manufacturer of instrument? Details of calibration intervals and services provided by the supplier or manufacturer. All necessary contacts for maintenance, calibration, any other service, for example, requirement of any new spare parts provided by supplier or manufacturer. Other thing is the availability of the utilities required, for example, electricity supply, space, etc. are available in the premises or not. The working environment given in specifications matching the environment provided. For example, air conditioning is also required for UV spectrophotometers. After the successful check, all parts assembled together and installed. Software also is installed in UV spectrophotometer and initial checks ensured installation. And after the successful installation of equipment, the documents and procedures should be appropriately kept in separate file with approval from quality assurance or quality control or any other approving authority. Now the next step in the qualification of UV spectrophotometer is operational qualification. Operational qualification or OQ is the documented collection of activities necessary to demonstrate that an instrument will function according to its operational specification in the selected environment. Following are the tests performed during operational qualification of UV spectrophotometer: wavelength accuracy, control of absorbance, limit of stray light, resolution, noise, stability, and baseline flatness. The first test in operational qualification is wavelength accuracy. Deviations in wavelength may cause significant errors in analysis by UV spectrophotometer. Thus, this is very essential to check the accuracy and reproduction of the wavelength shown in graph by UV spectrophotometer. This test is performed to understand the deviation of the wavelength reading from the known wavelength of the band. There are many methods to estimate the wavelength accuracy. For example, the wavelength standards such as deuterium lamp, mercury vapor lamp, and holmium oxide filter, holmium oxide solution, and didymium filter. One of the most common method utilized for this purpose is holmium oxide solution. Holmium oxide solution is actually 4% holmium oxide in 10% perchloric acid. The unique property of the holmium oxide solution, it gives the characteristic peaks at various fixed wavelengths. If the operational range is above 650 nanometer, then didymium filter is used. In that case, holmium oxide solution is not the better option. So this is the UV absorbance graph of the holmium oxide solution. As you can see in this graph that the holmium oxide solution gives peaks at the particular wavelength, and this is the basis of its usage for the judging the wavelength accuracy in UV spectrophotometers. Remember that if the operational range is above 650 nanometer, then holmium oxide is not used. In that case, didymium filter is used. This is because, as you can see in this graph, the holmium oxide solution gives peak between 200 to 650 nanometer only. The acceptance criteria for this in the UV region, that is 200 to 400 meter, there should not be a deviation more than plus minus 1 nanometer, and if it is above 400 nanometer up to 700 nanometer, that the criteria that it should not be deviate from plus minus 2 nanometer. The three repeated scans of same peak standard deviation of the mean must not exceed 0.5 nanometer. The previous test checks the wavelength accuracy, which is plotted in the x-axis of UV graph. And now the next test is for the absorbance, which is the y-axis parameter. And in this test, potassium dichromate is used and dilutions are prepared in 0.05 molar sulfuric acid. Different dilutions of potassium dichromate is prepared for ultraviolet and visible region. For UV region, accurately weigh 57 to 63 mg of potassium dichromate and transfer to 1000 ml volumetric flask, dissolve in 0.005 molar sulfuric acid and diluted to the mark with same acid. And the absorbance is measured at 235, 257, 313 and 350 nanometer using 0.05 molar sulfuric acid as reference solution. And for visible region, similar dilution is prepared by using 100 ml volumetric flask. And in this case, absorbance is measured at 430 nanometer using 0.05 molar sulfuric acid as reference solution. So this is the representative graph of potassium dichromate solution in 0.05 molar sulfuric acid. The first graph is absorbance in UV region and the second graph is the absorbance of potassium dichromate in visible region. And the next step is the calculation of A1% 1 centimeter for all wavelengths, that is 235, 257, 313 and 350 nanometer for UV region and 430 nanometer for visible region. And in this table, the acceptance criteria is shown. So the UV spectrophotometer passed this test if it qualifies if the readings are within the maximum tolerance limit as shown in the third column of this table. The next test is the limit of stray light. Stray light is any light reaching the detector without passing through the sample and may decrease the absorbance and reduces the linear range of the instrument. And this may be due to poor design or faulty monochromator or maybe because of operator. Usually this problem does not occur in the new instrument but increases with the age of optics and its degradation. Stray light will cause apparent negative deviations from Beer's law and thus affects the quantitative analysis of analyte. The absorbance range between 0.3 to 1 is generally not affected because of stray light and noise. This may be one of the reasons that this range is most preferable range for measurement for most of the analytical purpose. Higher absorbance ranges above 1 are more susceptible for stray light. As you can see in this UV graph, the absorbance value of any analyte may decrease because of the presence of stray light. For better understanding of the concept, let us take an example. As we know that the absorbance is equals to the negative of the logarithm of transmittance, where the T is the transmittance. Now in the presence of any stray light, then this will be added in the overall observed transmittance, and then in that case this equation becomes absorbance is equal to negative logarithm of T plus S, where this S is the intensity of the stray light that is reaching to the detector, and thus this is clear that in the presence of stray light the absorbance value will certainly decrease. Also, as we know that the value of transmittance is equals to the ratio of transmitted light and incident light, which is represented here by IT and I0. But in the presence of stray light, this equation or this value of transmittance will be equals to the IT plus S divided by IT plus S divided by I0 plus S. So if we assume that the presence of stray light is just 0.5% and the transmittance is 1%, then this equation becomes T is equal to 1 plus 0.05 divided by 100 plus 0.05. Where I0 is equals to the incident light, which is actually 100% reaching to the detector, and that's why this equation will be equals to 1.05 divided by 100.05, that is equals to the 0.0149. And when we put this value in the equation 1, the value of absorbance will equals to the negative of the log of 0.0149, which is equals to the 1.826. If we calculate the same thing assuming the transmittance of 1% in the absence of any stray light, ideally the value of absorbance should be equals to 2. But here in the presence of just 0.5% stray light, the value of absorbance is 1.826. So now you can understand that there is approximately 10% reduction in just 0.5% stray light that is reaching to the detector. So this is the overall concept of the stray light, why we are checking stray light and why it is very important in the case of qualification. And this test is basically performed by using some selected material for different wavelengths. For example, if the spectral range is between 190 to 205, we are using potassium chloride, that is 12 gram per liter, and in the range of 210 to 259, aqueous sodium iodide or potassium iodide, that is 10 gram per liter solution is used, and in the range of 250 to 320 nanometer, acetone is used, and in the range of 300 to 385, aqueous sodium nitrite 50 gram per liter solution is used for this purpose. And the acceptance criteria is this: the absorbance value of above mentioned solution should be greater than 2, or the transmittance of the solution in 1 centimeter cell should be less than 0.01. Now the next test is the resolution. Insufficient resolution in any spectrophotometer may lose some features of fine spectrum or unable to show difference of absorbance values between two close wavelengths. Low resolution simply means inaccurate quantitation. Determination of the resolution of a spectrophotometer is performed by following procedure. In this case, the ratio of absorbance of 0.02% volume by volume solution of toluene in hexane at the maximum and minimum at about 269 and 266 nanometer respectively, using hexane as the reference. Now this is the representative graph of the toluene in hexane solution. In the case of resolution, spectral bandwidth also plays a very important role. If the spectral bandwidth is more than 2 nanometer, that means the peak that is shown in this graph will be more broader, and in this case there may be an insufficient resolution. And the acceptance criteria in this case is the ratio of absorbance at lambda max, that is 269 nanometer, and the absorbance at minima, that is 266 nanometer, should not be less than 1.3. Now the next test is related to the noise. The noise originating from the light source and electronic systems in UV spectrophotometer and affects the measurement of absorbance in both lower and higher wavelengths. Inaccurate absorbance at low wavelength is related to absorbance originating from random fluctuations of photon of light and electronic components at higher wavelength. Noise also affects the precision, and instrument will respond only at the particular concentration of analyte, or in other words, making it insensitive with increase in limit of detection value. To estimate the noise of a spectrophotometer, air is scanned, that means here in practical there is no sample, for 10 minutes in absorbance mode, and the root mean square, that is RMS, is calculated 500 nanometer. The acceptance criteria is this: the root mean square value of the noise should be typically be less than 0.01. And the next step is the stability. The changes in the components and age are the major factors making instability of response by UV spectrophotometer, resulting error in readings. The error caused by this factor may be positive or negative. Positive errors are those errors in which we are actually observing the values that are more than actual, and in the case of negative error, the readings are less than the actual response. For checking stability, air is scanned for 60 minutes in absorbance mode, and in this case generally this is 340 nanometer, and deflections in the absorbance are recorded. Here in this case we have to observe the highest deflection and the lowest deflection. Highest deflection is shown here by blue arrow, and the lowest deflection is shown here in the red arrow, and the deflections in this case should be less than 0.02. Next test is the baseline flatness. Baseline is basically used to nullify the effect of environment in measurement by removing background noise to get the true absorbance profile of any analyte. In double beam UV spectrophotometer, baseline correction is usually performed by keeping solvent in one cuvette and test solution in other. This will automatically correct the baseline and subtract background noise by solvent. This test is performed by scanning air in the absorbance mode in UV region, and the highest and lowest deflections in the absorbance units are recorded. And acceptance criteria in this case is the deflection is typically less than 0.01 absorbance. Now next test is the linearity. Ideally the absorbance should increase with increase in the concentration of analyte in solution. For this purpose, various dilutions of potassium dichromate are prepared ranging from 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100 mg per liter in 0.05 molar sulfuric acid solution, and scanned by keeping 0.05 molar sulfuric acid in reference cuvette. The calibration curve is prepared by measuring absorbance of each solution, and correlation coefficient is then calculated. The acidic solution of potassium dichromate gives the peaks at 235, 257, 313 and 350 nanometer. As you can see in this graph, this is the calibration curve of potassium dichromate solution. So this is just a representative graph for the better understanding of the topic. So in this case, as you can see, y is equal to mx plus c is the regression equation, and r square value is actually the correlation coefficient. It should be more than or equal to 0.999. Now the last part of the video is performance qualification. The purpose of PQ is to determine that the instrument is capable of meeting the user's requirements for all parameters that may affect the quality of the measurement, and to ensure that it will function properly over extended period of time. The purpose of PQ is to provide evidence that instrument is fit for its routine use. The performance of instrument may change gradually over time because of normal wear of parts, failure or change of its components. Generally, performance of spectrophotometer measurements are performed under identical conditions for the test specimen and the reference substances. For example, USP reference standard. The initial PQ test may include the comparison of results obtained by the instrument with other qualified instruments of the laboratory under identical conditions and samples. Sufficient system suitability tests are then performed for the clear understanding of the threshold outside which instrument performance is not appropriate. For example, absorbance linearity should be established and coefficient of variance is calculated before routine analysis of any sample. The general acceptable value of coefficient of variance is less than or equals to 1. So this is all with the qualification of UV spectrophotometer. Hope you all have liked this video. So please share with your colleagues who are in the search of this topic. Thank you friends.